And now on the new recording, let's go back to the Excel spreadsheet. Not the Excel spreadsheet. First, let's go back to the slides. And this is the question that we're going to do. Now we're going to start working first with the direct material variances. We're going to use this example. We're going to do it together, and we're going to do another example together. At this point, I'm going to switch now to the Excel spreadsheet that we just created. And we're going to move to direct materials. On direct materials side, I'm going to paste this one as a picture so I can manipulate it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So what we have to do, we have to use this and solve the problem. So based on this question, we have to find what will be the actual cost, what will be the variance, what will be the actual quantity, what's the standard cost, what's the price variance, what's the quantity variance, what's the cost variance. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a little bit rows here because we need those one. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create something. I'm going to do some management with all those rows in terms of formatting the cells so we can have a number with no decimals, or maybe with 2 decimals with the separation of comma. Okay, let's start one after another and see what we know and what we don't know. Let's start filling the gaps. Now, this company has the following direct material standard for the fiber fuel of its mountain park. They're using 0.1 kilogram of the fiber fuel at $5 per kilogram. This is our standard. So from our standard, how many kilograms per fiber park are we using to produce 1 unit? Obviously, that will be 0.1 kilogram, correct? That's our standard. And our standard unit price for that fiber fuel is $5 per kilogram. So in this formula, what will be our standard price per kilogram? Who's going to tell me?
$5.
$5, yes. So I can plug $5 here right away.
Mm-hmm.
$5 is my standard price. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last month, 210 kilograms of fiber fuel was purchased and used to make 2,000 parkers. So how many units we made?
$2,000.
Okay, we made 2,000 units. Is that clear for everybody? That's the number of units that we made, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What was the actual kilograms or actual quantity of the material that we used?
210 kilos.
210 kilograms, which is our actual quantity, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, how much was our total cost?
1,029.
So 1,029 is the actual total cost. So since I have the actual total cost and I have the actual quantity, can I calculate the actual price? What will be the formula here? Actual cost divided by the actual quantity. It's going to give you the actual price. Now in this side, on this part, I have the actual quantity. I have the standard price. Can I calculate here the calculation?
Yeah.
Obviously I can. That will be equal to 210 times $5. What's left? I don't know my standard quantity. But what I know, what do I know? I know how many units I made, correct? Units made. And what else I know? I know that direct material needed for 1 unit.
0.1.
0.1 kilograms. So since I know the number of the kilograms that I need to produce 1 unit, 0.1 kilogram, 0.1 kilogram, let's make it like this. Since I know, that will be the other way, direct material. Since I know how much I need to produce 1 unit, and I know the number of the units that I made, can I calculate the standard quantity to produce 2,000 units?
Yes, is the result the
Yes,
multiplication?
that will be
2000.
equal to 2,000 units times 0.01. Since I have those numbers, can I calculate the standard cost? That will equal to 200 times $5. So, can I calculate my quantity variance now? How much will be the quantity variance? This cost minus the standard cost, correct?
Okay.
$50. Price variance. Can I calculate my price variance? Of course. I'm going to get the actual cost minus that middle cost. Okay, that's gonna go, so let's do it the hard way. Negative 21. Since I have the price variance and the quantity variance, can I calculate the cost variance?
Yes.
Yes, how much will be that? So now I can calculate it either this one minus that one, correct? Or the other way I can calculate it will be this one minus that one. In both cases, I should get the same number, correct? Not in this case, because this one should be this one minus minus bracket that one. Still 21. What will be that? How can we do this formula? 21 is negative, so minus this one minus that one. Let's do this one. But I need it to be positive. So how can I get it positive? 21 minus 50. Try this one. There we go. Make sense? So
Yeah.
now the question is, we have to do analysis, correct? So far we have only numbers. But let's do some thinking. Now, by my standards, when I prepared the budget, I expected in order to make 2,000 units of this product, I expected to use 2,000 kilograms of material. And by my standards, I'm supposed to pay $5 for that material. So I'm supposed to spend $1,000. In reality, to produce 2,000 units, I didn't use 2,000 kilograms of material. I used 210 kilograms, 10 kilograms more. Since I'm using 10 kilograms more, my cost increased with $50. Correct? Are you with me?
No, Professor, can you repeat that?
So, by my standards, to produce 2,000 units, I expect to use 200 kilograms.
Mhm.
In reality, I use 110 kilograms.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm using more kilograms, I spend $50 more.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now,
hold on a second now. Is
Mhm.
this favorable or unfavorable for me? Is it good for me that I'm spending more
No,
or bad for me that's spending more?
bad.
Bad. So that will be unfavorable, correct?
Yeah.
Now, the other question is, let's compare this number with this number. Now, okay, I'm using 210. I use 210 kilograms to produce 2,000. Based on my standards, I'm supposed to pay $5 per kilogram. In reality, I pay $4.90 because I'm paying less for 90 compared to my standards. I was able to generate saving of how much? Of $21, right? So instead of spending $1,050, I'm spending $1,029. Since I'm spending less, is that favorable or unfavorable for me?
Favorable.
Favorable. Good. So on the cost variance, what happened in the cost variance? By my standards, I'm supposed to spend $1,000, but actually, I'm spending $29 more. Is that favorable for me or unfavorable? Is it good for me that I'm spending more or
No.
bad for me? No.
Bad.
So that will be unfavorable, correct?
Mhm.
So, in short, to produce 2,000 units, I'm using 10 kilograms more than my standards. And because of that, I'm using $50. But because the price per unit went down, I'm saving $21. However, the price per unit is not high enough to compensate of the usage of more materials. That's why I'm losing $29. Make sense?
Yes. So what you need
Okay.
to do now is find out why you are using more quantity.
More materials. Exactly. Very good thinking. Now let's go back to slides and let's do some slides now. Now getting interesting, isn't it?
Mhm.
So let's follow the slides and see how the slides go. Sorry, I don't want to add new slides. I just want to move to this one. So how are we going to calculate it? The way we did it. So we're going to get the actual cost, which actual cost is given. Actual quantity, standard price. Standard price. Then from the actual cost which is given, we're going to get the actual price divided by the actual cost divided by the number of kilograms used. And the standard quantity, we're going to use it by the number of units that we actually produce times the allowable kilograms per unit. And we're going to get the standard quantity. If you want to do the same thing, not with the chart, but with the formula, you have to do this thing. You have to get the actual kilograms time the difference between the actual price and standard price. And it's going to give you $21 favorable. The other way to do it for the material quantity variance, you have to get the standard price stays the same, and you're playing with the quantity. Now you're getting the actual quantity minus the standard quantity, and you're going to see that you're using 10 kilograms more, and that gives you $50 unfavorable variance. Responsibility management. Who is responsible and who we should hold responsible? For the materials, for the quantity variance, we're going to hold responsible the production manager. Production manager is the one who decides how much materials he should use to produce those 2,000 units. So he will be responsible. Now, the question comes, what if production manager using more materials because of the lower quality of the material? Imagine this, the purchase manager is responsible for the purchase price, correct? He's the one who's dealing with the suppliers. He's the one who purchasing materials. He's the one who's doing all the stuff related to the purchasing. Now, he found cheaper material, but the cheap material comes with the lower quality. Yes, the purchasing manager did his job. He saved money on the purchasing, but did he actually save money?
No.
Since he bought the lower quality material, now the production manager facing the problem with the lower quality material. So he has to use more material.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
That may happen with you too. For example, listen to this example. You're going to the grocery store. Usually in the grocery stores, usually at the end of the day or during the day, they're selling groceries which are at reduced price, correct?
Yes.
Even in Walmart, there's a special section that's like a car which has the reduced groceries, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're paying less, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend you buy potato. Why are you paying less? Because there's something wrong with the potatoes. So you're taking that deal. You're paying $2 for like a, let's say, 10 pounds potato. You're going home, you start using those potatoes, you find out that the quality is not there. So technically, you have to use a way more potato than your standards. Now the question is, do you still saving money?
No.
That's what the question is. If you're still saving money, go for it. But if you're buying something because it's cheaper, but the quality is not there, maybe you're gonna lose money. Make sense now?
Mm-hmm.
So you understand that sometimes buying cheaper, it doesn't mean that you're gonna save money. Because again, the cost is function between two components. One is the quantity, the other one is the cost per unit. So buying cheap material not always means that you're gonna save overall money. You might end up actually spending more because you have to use more of that material. Okay, let's do another example, another question, so we can practice this thing. I'm going to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to share the Excel spreadsheet with you. And we can do another example here on the direct material variance. Let's paste this question here again with the picture. It's a picture, so I can manipulate it a little bit like this and like that, and let's move it, make it shorter like this. So now at this point, I can copy this, right? I can copy this thing and flip it here, and we start filling the gaps. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need this. 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 I don't need this one. I don't need this one. Let's start working and reading the question and start filling the gaps. First, this company has the following direct material standards to manufacture one zippy. 1.5 pounds per zippy at $4 per pound. What we can get from this sentence? Can we get our standard price per kilogram?
$4 per pound?
Yes.
$4. Let's go. Standard price $4. Right away. $4. Done. First one is done. What else we can get? Do I know the direct material needed to produce one unit?
Mm-hmm. 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5. Okay. And we leave it here. Next information. Last week, 1,700 pounds of material were purchased and used to make 1,000 zippies. From this sentence, what do I know? Do I know the actual material which was purchased and used?
Yeah, 1,700.
1,700. Let's fill the gaps. 1,700. What else I know? Do I know the units that I made?
Yeah, 1,000.
1,000. Since I know the units that I made, can I calculate for those units, to make those units, based on my standards, how many kilograms of material I need? Can I calculate that number?
Yeah.
Yes. How much will be that? That will be equal to 1,000 units times the standards for one unit.
1,500.
Make sense? 1,500. The last thing, the last sentence, material cost a total of 6,633. So do I know my actual cost?
Yeah, 6,630.
6,630. Since I know my actual cost, can I calculate my actual price?
Yes.
Obviously I can, right? Actual cost divided by actual quantity, that will be my actual price. So let's do analysis. For the quantity analysis, based on my standard, in order to produce 1,000 units, I need to spend 1.5 thousand kilograms, pounds, and I have to spend $4 per pound. So I have to spend in total $6,000. In reality, I'm using more materials. I'm using 200 more pounds. Because I'm using 200 more pounds, I'm spending $6,800, or I'm spending $800 more. So my quantity variance, because of using more quantity, is unfavorable. I'm spending more money, $800. Now with the price, the standard price I'm supposed to spend $4, but in reality I'm spending $3.90. And because of that, I'm able to generate savings of $170. However, my savings from the reduced price is not enough to cover the overspending due to the usage of more materials. So my cost variance is negative or unfavorable $630. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, who is responsible for the quantity variance? Who was that?
The manager of
manager,
production. Mm-hmm.
Yes. The price variance, who is responsible for the price variance? Purchasing manager. Correct?
Correct.
The one who's dealing with the purchases. So in order we to see what's the actual, why those differences comes, we have to now find different questions, go to those managers and start asking questions. Let's go back to slides. Remember those numbers. Price variance that much, quantity variance that much, cost variance that much. Remember, try to remember those numbers. If you don't, we're going to go back and forth. Let's go back to slides now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's try to answer this question. This company, material price variance for the week was how much?
B 170.
Favorable, yes, that is correct ones. So the other way you to calculate it is you're not moving the actual quantity, you're just chasing the actual price from $3.90 to $4. Time the actual quantity is going to give you 170 favorable. What's happened with the material quantity variance? How much was it?
C.
It was D.
C 800 unfavorable.
Oh, favorable.
811, yes. The other way you to calculate it is getting the standard price and chasing the change in the actual quantity minus the standard quantity. For me, I don't know which one works for you. I don't know how your brain works and how your mindset works. Is it easy to use the formula or is it easy to use the chart? For me, it's easy to use the chart because on the chart I can actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, chart is
So,
the easy one.
right. So this is the way the chart works, the one that we already prepared in the Excel spreadsheet, and how we get the numbers. Now, variances, obviously, variances should be isolated and brought to attention to the management as quickly as possible. So once you see variance, you just chase that variance right away. Don't leave it. You have to do something with it. And obviously, the most significant variances should be viewed as a red flag. And that's where you should focus. Now, what's going to happen? This was the case where the company purchased and used exactly the same quantity. But what's going to happen if the company purchased one quantity and use different quantity? Let's see how we're going to deal with this situation now. So let's pretend in this case, this company has the following the standard. Let's copy this quiz and let's go back to the Excel spreadsheet and see what we can get. Let me share my screen again. And I'm going to paste it right in here, not as a picture again. So now there's a difference. Difference in the questions came from the material that we purchased and material that we used. Okay, so how are we going to do the analysis? We're going to do the analysis in 2 steps. I'll show you right now. Let's flip this one information here. Now, I don't need this one. I don't need this one. I don't need this one. Let's get rid of all of those. First, let me do some changes here because we have to do some changes, obviously. It's not going to work the way it's the usual way it works. Okay, so I'm pretty much where it's supposed to be. Just give me 1 second here to push the one down. This one is better. Now, what do we have to do? We're going to do it on 2 stages here. In first stage, we're going to deal with the material which we purchase. So we can have responsibility for the purchase managers first. So first, we're going to find the price variance. How are we going to do this? Do we know the actual material which were purchased?
Yeah, 2,800.
So let's work with this number, 2,800. Do we know the actual cost that we pay for those materials?
10,920.
10,920. So from this case, can I get my actual price?
Yes.
Obviously, I can, right? The total cost divided by the actual quantity. So now this actual quantity is the actual quantity that I'm going to use here, right? Because I have to stay in the same reality. Do I know my standard price?
1,700.
Sorry, my standard price per kilogram, per pound. Sorry.
$4.
$4. So based on my standards, so listen to this, based on my standards, I am supposed to pay $4 per pound. I'm purchasing 2,800 pounds. But then because I'm purchasing the lower price, 390, my price variance is favorable or unfavorable?
Favorable.
Favorable. I'm spending less money, correct? Based on my standards. And that's where I stop. I'm stopping here on the price variance. That's where I'm going to go. Let's go with the same cover here. And that cover will be not that one, probably will be this one or that one. This one. This is my price variance, and that's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go any further. Now for the quantity variance, now I cannot use the numbers related to the purchase of materials. For the quantity variance, I have to use the numbers related to the material actually used to make something, right? So that's why we have one for the price variance. We're going to use the purchased for information for the purchase. For the quantity variance, we're going to use the information for the production. In that case, we're going to move here. And what we're going to do now? Do I know the actual quantity of the pounds that I used to produce the 1,000?
Yeah, 1,700.
So now I'm flipping the usage to 1,700. I cannot work anymore with the
With the
2,000
total?
with the amount purchased. Now
Mhm.
I have to go to the quantity which I actually used to produce the 1,000.
Mhm.
Based on my standards, do I know how many pounds I supposed to use to produce 1,000? That will be 1,000 times my standard, 1.5 pounds.
Mhm.
Correct? And I know my standard price, correct? My standard price is $4. So now from this information, I can get the quantity variance. Correct? And in this case, that variance will be irrelevant because now I'm in different realities. So for this one, I'm going to use the green color so you can see it. So now you can see the difference. Again, for the price variance, I'm using the purchased quantity. For the quantity variance, I'm using the actually used quantity in production. Make sense?
Mhm.
Good. Let's go back to slides now. Again, for the price variance, we're going to use the quantity purchased or the purchase quantity, and we're just going to compare the price, and we're going to get the price variance. So we can have responsible here the purchasing manager. For the usage, for the quantity variance, we're going to use the actual quantity used for the production. And now we can have questions for the production manager as well. Obviously, the spending variance at this point is irrelevant because we are in different realities. That's for the direct material. Let's go now with the labor. Now it's getting repetition, but more repetition is going to be better for you because you're going to see the same thing over and over again, and as you're going to see, you're going to start being better and better. For the direct labor, we're going to use the chart for direct labor that we already have. I'm going to pause this one again as a picture, the question, and I'm going to modify it a little bit, and we're going to start working with this one. So I'm going to copy this thing, this chart, and I'm going to flip it right in here. The last piece that left for us is this information here, which I also need, and that will be posted right here, pasted right here. So let's go. Company has the following direct labor standards for the mountain park. 1.2 standard hours per parker for 1 unit at $10 per unit. So what do I know from here? Do I know my standard rate that I'm paying
Yes.
per hour?
Yes.
How much is my standard rate?
$10.
Okay. My standard rate is $10. And here also $10, correct? What else I know? Do I know the direct labor that I need to use to produce 1 unit?
Yes, 1.2.
1.2. Okay. Last month, employee actually worked 2,500 hours. And the total labor cost is 26,250. So do I know the actual hours worked?
2,500.
2,500. Do I know the actual cost?
Yes,
26,250.
26,250.
250. Okay. So once I know those, can I calculate my standard, my actual rate?
Yes, we can divide 26,250 divided by 2.
Right. And that will be my standard rate. So here I have this number, actual hours, 2,500. What's the number that left for me? The standard hours. But do I know how many units I produced?
2,000.
2,000 units. So since I know how many units I have produced in reality, based on my standards, do I know how many hours I'm supposed to spend to produce those 2,000 units?
1.2 or 10 hours.
Okay, that will be the 2,000 times 1.2. So do I have all the information to calculate those numbers?
Yes.
Obviously, this number will be this one time $10, and this one will be equal to this one time that one. All right. My efficiency variance. How much is my efficiency variance? That will be 25,000 minus 24,000. 1,000. So based on my standards, to produce 2,000 units of product, I'm supposed to spend 2,400 hours. And I have to pay $10 per hour. In reality, I spent 2,500 hours. So based on my standard, I'm supposed to spend 24,000. In reality, because I'm using more hours, I'm spending $25,000. Is that favorable for me or unfavorable for me?
Unfavorable.
Unfavorable. Thank you. Now,
Unfavorable.
unfavorable. Let's see on the rate variance. Based on the rate that I'm paying $10 for 2,500 hours, I'm supposed to pay 25. However, in reality, I'm still using 2,500 hours, right? But I'm paying $10.50. So because I'm paying more per hour, my variance is how much? $1,250. Is that favorable or unfavorable for me?
Unfavorable.
Unfavorable because I'm paying more. So on the cost spending, am I paying less or paying more?
More.
More.
More. Sorry, let's fix this one. That will be equal to this one minus that one. Or in other words, it can be equal to this one plus that one. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go now to slides and see, cover the slides. It's getting easier, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's gonna get even more easy. Don't worry about it. So the chart that we did, actual hours are given, actual cost is given. We're using the actual hours and we're using the standard rate, which was given to us. The next thing that left is to get the actual rate. Actual rate, we're going to get it from the actual cost that we have divided by the actual hours. And the standard hours, we're going to get it with the number of units that we actually produce times the standards that we have to produce 1 unit. And from here, we can do the variances, the rate variance and the efficiency variance. If you want to use the formula method, that's how we should use the formula method. Now, the question is, who is responsible? In this case, the responsible person is the only and only the production manager. Why production manager? Because production manager is the one that, using the mix of the skill level assigned to the work tasks, he knows the level of the employee motivation and he can influence that motivation. Also, the production manager is the one who's dealing with the quality of the production supervision. And production manager is the one who dealing with the training and retraining of the employees. Yes, you can say, but hold on a second, the human resource is the one who hired the employee. That is true. And production manager don't have control over the hiring people, but he have the power for the training of the employees. That's why the production manager is the one who will be responsible for all the variances on the labor side, for the rate variance and for the efficiency variance, for both of them. Now let's do another question together so we can practice this direct labor. I'm going to copy this question and we're going to move to the Excel. Just a second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Let's do this together faster because now you're getting speed. Now you're getting faster and faster. All right. This one I don't need it. 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 This one. Okay. What do we know? What we don't know? This company has the following direct labor standards to manufacture one product. 1.5 standard hours for one product at $12 per direct labor hour. So do I know my standard rate?
Yes, $12.
$12 is my standard rate. Excellent. Do I know how many direct labor hours I should use to produce one unit?
Yeah, we can multiply 1.5
No. Listen to the question. Listen to the question. Do I know how many hours I should use to produce only one unit? How many hours I should use to produce one unit?
1.5.
1.5. That's all I'm asking here. I'm not. I know you're going a little bit further, but I'm just asking right now to pick up the information that I need for the calculation later.
Yeah, sorry.
You're right, but you're jumping too fast.
Yeah, thank you.
You're correct. Stay with me, follow the questions. All right. Let's keep reading. Last week, 1,500 direct labor hours were actually work at the total cost of $18,910 to make 1,000 ZPs. So what we can get from here? Do I know the actual hours?
1550.
Okay, 1550. 1550. Do I know my actual cost?
18,910.
18,910. Now, since I know the actual cost, I can calculate the actual rate, correct? So the last piece of the puzzle left is standard hours. Do I know how many units I produce?
1,000.
1,000. So my standard hours should be to produce 1,000 based on 1.5 hours per unit, 1,500 hours. So since I know all this information, now I can work on the variances. First, efficiency variance. Because I'm using 50 hours more, I'm paying $600 more. And because I'm paying 20 cents per hour more, I'm paying $310 more. In overall, I'm overspending $910. Remember those rate variance 310 and efficiency variance 600 unfavorable, both unfavorable. Now let's go back to slides and let's follow the slides. First question. Labor rate variance. How much was it?
A.
A, unfavorable 3,
A,
193.
300 unfavorable. Okay. That's how we calculate it by using the formula. You're staying with the actual hours and you're chasing the difference between the rate. Efficiency variance.
C.
C. How we calculate it? We're staying with the standard rate and we're chasing the difference between the hours, actual versus standard. In the form of chart, that's how it's going to look like. Now, the last thing that left is the variable overhead. For the variable overhead, we're going to use this information here. And I'm going to copy it. And we're going to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. Let's paste it as a picture again. No, no. I'm going to paste it as a JPEG. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to flip it here. We're going to need one piece of information from here. And I'm going to need extra line right in here. Okay, so now we can read the question and see where we are and what's going on. First thing first. This company has the following direct variable manufacturing overhead labor standard. So the variable overhead is allocated based on the direct labor hour standard. 1.2 standard hours per one park at $4 per hour. So do I know how much variable manufacturing overhead I need to allocate for 1 unit?
1.2.
1.2. The next question is, do I know my standard rate per hour for the,
Yes,
for the
it's
variable manufacturing overhead? $4, right?
$4. Yeah.
$4. Excellent. Let's keep going. Last month, an employee actually worked 2,500 hours to make 2,000 parkas. So do I know the actual hours worked?
Yeah, it's 250.
2,500. And do I know how many units we made?
2,000.
2,000 units. So based on this information, do I know how many hours I supposed to use based on my standards to produce 2,000 units?
It's 10,500.
This one time that one, correct?
Yes.
So how much must my actual cost? Actual variable
10,500.
manufacturing overhead for the month was 10,500.
10,500.
10,500 is my actual cost. So since I have my actual cost, can I calculate the actual rate? Obviously, will be the total cost divided by the actual hours, and I get the rate. So do I have information here to calculate this? I do. So let's put the formulas here, and this one will be equal to this one times that one. Now, can I calculate my efficiency variance?
Mhm.
That will be the 10,000 minus 9,600. So based on my standards, I'm supposed to spend 2,400 hours to produce 2,000 units at $4 per hour, but I'm spending 2,500 hours. So what kind of variance is this? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Favorable or
Negative.
unfavorable? Okay, good. Spending variance. Spending variance will be 10,500 minus 10,000. So by my standards, I'm supposed to pay $4. Well, my variable overhead cost should be $4. In reality, it's $4.20. Is this favorable or unfavorable for me?
Unfavorable.
Unfavorable. So my cost variance here in this case is 10,500 minus 9,006. So that's 9,900 unfavorable. The other way we can calculate it is this one plus that one. Will give us unfavorable as well. Make sense?
Mhm.
Right. So let's go back to slides. This is how we do the chart, right? We know the total cost, we know the actual hours, we know the standard per hour. Now we have to calculate the actual rate. Actual rate is the total cost divided by the actual hours, and we're gonna get the standard hours, which is the number of units that we produce times the standards that we have to produce 1 unit. Using the formula, that's how we're gonna get it. For the spending variance, you're staying with the actual hours and you're chasing the difference in the rate. For the overhead efficiency variance, you're staying with the same rate, the standard rate, and you're chasing the difference within the hours. Quick check here. Let's do one more question. So I'll pause the question here, as usual. Let's do the question with the zippies. And I'm copy and paste this information. And let's do it together. I don't need this number. I don't need this number. I don't need this number, this number, this number, this number. Oops. So I need this bracket. I don't need this number. I don't need this number. Okay, let's go. This company needed smaller, so I can delete those lines. Okay, that's better. So this company has the following variable manufacturing overhead standards to manufacture one zippy. 1.5 standard hours are $3 per direct labor hour. So what's my standard to produce one. $1.5 hours, correct?
Mhm.
And how much is my standard
$3.
rate? $3. I can fill that information right away. Last week, 1,550 hours were worked to make 1,000. So how much is my actual hours?
1550.
1,550. And how many I produced? How many
1,000.
units I produced? I produced 1,000 units. So my actual cost is 5,150, 5,115. So from here, I can easily get the standard cost. The standard hours are number of the units that I actually produce times the standards that I have for one unit, 1,500, and the actual rate will be the total cost divided by the actual hours that I use. And as you can see from here, I'm spending 50 more hours, and that brings me the unfavorable $150, and I'm paying my cost for the variable overhead increase with 30 cents. That produce another unfavorable spending variance. Remember, 465 unfavorable and 150 unfavorable. And let's go to the slides, finish the slides. Now for this question, spending variance for the variable manufacturing. What was the answer here? A, correct? And how are we going to get it? We're not changing the actual hours. We're staying with the actual hours, and we're chasing the difference in the rate. And the other one, the efficiency variance. The efficiency variance here was 150 unfavorable, as you remember. So how are we going to get it? Again, on this way. This is the chart that we already did together. What is the standards? Standard cost and variance for the service industry. This was for the production. For the service industry is pretty much the same. No changes. The main differences is the standard manufacturing and service industry is the terminology which you're using in order to produce those variances. So I'm going to stop this recording again.